Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. Except this one is a community cast, so I had this sent in by Legend27. He's playing as the Lizardman, and it's a hell of a battle. He's up against the Empire, and I think it's great. I love this army. So it's themed. It's themed around skinks, and obviously Kroxigors. They come from the same spawning pools, so it's all very thematic. And they're being led by Mazdamundi. And I love it. I think this is great. So, as you can see, he's got 3 units of Kroxigors. He's got a big wide line of skinks here. He's also got some skinks in the back as well, just to plug up any gaps. He's also got a feral carnosaur, which is some great anti-large. You know, they're really quick, very scary. And he's also got these 2 skink chiefs, which are great for harassing enemies. So, enemy lords and things, you can just constantly be shooting at them. But you got to watch out for range fire a lot, because as you can see, they only have 30 armor. So they can get shot down pretty easily. So you've got to be very careful with them, but they have a lot of utility. They've got an extra charge of, what's it called, cold-blooded each, so they can get a lot of healing in. And yeah, they're just very versatile units. I really do like the Skink Chiefs on Pterodons. And yeah, very quick, very maneuverable, great for chasing down fleeing units. They're just really useful. I love them. Mazdamundi, obviously, you know, is just an absolute powerhouse. So on Zlaaq, he's got that anti-infantry bonus, the armor piercing. He's got the missile damage as well, with poison attacks there. Load of armor, 140. And as you can see, he's got the Net of Amontok, Apotheosis, and he's got Banishment and Ruination of Cities as well. So very dangerous is Mazdamundi here. So also in the woods, you can see he's got a load of feral dinos here. He's got some feral cold ones. And over, where are they? Here we go. He's also got some skink skirmishers. So a lot of skinks, very wide line, which I think is fantastic against the Empire. So you can see the Empire already shooting at Mazdamundi. Very painful, that's with the Hammer of the Witches. But I love this skink build, honestly, against the Empire, because frankly the Empire need to bring elite units to be able to deal with you know, the Lizardmen. They can't rely on their cheap units so much. They will just get overrun and murdered and killed, and they just won't match up very well, honestly. So you've got to be very careful. You need to bring a lot of heavy hitting things to deal with all the big dinosaurs. So just having a load of skinks, you can just wrap up everything, which I think is great. So here you can see right in the front, Free Company Militia. I think the reason why they're in the front is just in case there are a whole line of skirmishers out the front trying to get some early damage in. The Free Company could kill a few of them, you know, as they approach, and stop the Great Swords from taking the damage. So they will actually be fleeing back now in a bit because, well, you know, no skirmishers, so that's fine. But front line of Great Swords, these guys will absolutely murder the skinks, but they'll have a tough time against the Kroxigors, which is why it's good to have the, you know, the skinks and the Kroxigors. They can kind of manage most things pretty well. So if it's like a load of spearmen, the skinks can deal with the spearmen, and the Kroxigors can just walk through them, honestly. So that's pretty great. Also in the back, you can see he's got the silver bullets, he's got the Hammer of the Witches, and he's got the handgunners. I really like the Hammer of the Witches here, because the fact that it's a Regiment Renowned, you know, it's got the triple gold chevron, it makes it so accurate. So yeah, it will hit a lot. Also, Light Wizard. Obviously, you can't really go up against Lizardmen without a Light Wizard. You've got to have that Net of Amontok just to buy yourself as much time as possible for your handgunners to do the damage. So, very formidable. So I really like this. I really like this backline. And also he's got a unit of Demigryph Knights with halberds. And he's actually got another unit of Demigryph Knights hidden back here, which is pretty impressive. The fact he managed to stretch that out. And I think the reason why he had enough money to get all this elite stuff is because he brought Boris on foot. So he saved a lot of money, but obviously he regenerates, so he'll be able to fight trash all day. He'll have no problems fighting, you know, Saurus warriors or whatever. He's going to have to watch out for Mazdamundi, you know, big things, going to knock him around, he's got that anti-infantry, it's going to hurt. But, you know, Boris, very formidable in this matchup, I think. And on foot, I think, can be pretty handy. A lot of the big dinosaurs tend to be anti-large, so like the Carnosaur, for instance, Krokgar. If you had Krokgar on Grimlock, that would have been very tough. So, yeah, I think on foot, it's not a bad shout. It lets you get more demigryphs and things like that. So, I really like it. So, let's speed things up and see how it goes. So, straight away, skinks are coming up. You see a load of damage on Mazdamundi already from the Hammer of the Witches. Hammer of the Witches, absolutely fantastic. They're just getting early damage in. Also, the Free Company, normally, you know, not ideal, because you need that, like, armor piercing, and the Free Company don't really have a lot of armor piercing. But against things like the Skink Chiefs, they're going to be really good just against some extra damage in. It's going to be great. So as you can see, a load of damage on the Skink Chiefs already. So that's painful. So these really need to be moved to the flanks, I think, and then you can just start shooting things in the, you know, in the flanks. And it means that constantly your Free Company, your handgunners, they've got to keep rotating, you know, to deal with things on the sides and then deal with things in front, like the Kroxigors and Mazdamundi. So very scary, very scary. So as you can see, the Skinks obviously no match against the greatswords. Here, Skinks a bit blobbed up. Honestly, I think he could have afforded to try and flank around a bit more. Because, you know, use those numbers. Use those numbers. So the Demigryph Knights come in here, and they'll actually do brilliantly against the Kroxigors. Here, Ruination of Cities comes in, almost wipes out those free company, does a ton of damage to the Silver Bullets, a bit to the Greatswords, so it's pretty great. So Net of Amatop comes in here, which is great, because now we can't use these numbers of all these Skink cohorts, because they're pinned here. Also, it means the Feral Carnosaur isn't in killing things, and neither is Mazdamundi. Over here, though, you can see the Skink Chief has been run off by the Hammer of the Witches, so great use there. Done a lot of damage. I'd probably shoot at him a little bit longer to make sure he can't come back. But, yeah, it's debatable, actually. There's still a lot of threatening things you want to be pointing at. So here you can see he's pointing at either the Kroxigors or Mazdamundi. Can't tell, but the Hammer of the Witches are going for a bit of a walk. So, over here you can see fantastic countercharge by the Demigryph Knights here. So, all the Feral Cold Ones came in. One went for this group to try and flank, try and break this, you know, line here. And the other two units were trying to go for the handgunners. But fantastic charge by the Demigryph Knights, managed to pin both of them in place, as well as the Skink Skirmishers. So that is very scary. So the Apotheosis comes down here, but a little bit too late. They're taking way too much damage from this. Another wise thing, use your numbers. You know, charge one unit in here, one unit in there, one unit around. You know, just to charge at whatever you can see a chance to attack, you know. So here, Greatswords are having a really tough time. Carnosaur getting really pinned down, so it's being pinned down by the Demigryph Knights, and the handgunners can shoot at it, you know, at will. So that's very dangerous, especially when a lot of these numbers are just bogged down on a couple of units. It's very scary. So Boris is coming back in. I'm not sure what he was chasing, but you know, that's fine. He's coming back. These Skinks need to come back in quickly because you've got to use these numbers. You've got to be able to pin things down. I mean, here there's loads of juicy targets just right in the middle, and there's nothing protecting them. So I mean, well, there's the Demigryphs, but they're a bit busy fighting a dinosaur at the moment. So yeah, you need to get in here. As well as that, you know, Skink Chief is just standing in the open. It's going to get shot at by the handgunners. So here, Feral Cold Ones coming in for the handgunners. Another great count charge by the Demigryphs. They're going to come in and, yeah, they're going to kill the Cold Ones pretty quickly. So it's going to save a lot of the handgunners. We can see Demigryph Knights being used purely defensively. You know, they charge, do some damage, and then they get out and wait for something else to charge in, which is the best way to deal with big numbers of things. So it's pretty bold. One other thing, though, is I don't know where his Light Wizard has gone. Did they kill the Light Wizard? I think they might have done. I think the Skink Chiefs might have sniped him out, which is not good. You really want that Net of Amatog. So over here you can see these Demigryph Knights have taken a ton of damage. They were the ones fighting the Feral Carnosaur, which is now running away, unfortunately. So they've taken a lot of damage. But, you know, with these free company in here, you got the Silver Bullets, a lot of things trying to fight here. But luckily the terrain is kind of on the dinosaur side here. It is quite difficult. You can't just sit up here and fight. Over here, Banishment comes down, does a ton of damage to the Free Company Militia, and now a Ruination of City is going to come in, and it's going to do mad damage here. So almost wiped out 2 units with those 2 free spells, and those are 2 very troublesome units. Those are 2 that he really wanted to get rid of for a long time. So that's the beauty with Mazdamundi. He can just get in some mad damage, you know, for free. It's very scary, you know, and especially when the Empire sort of relies on its elite units to be able to damage all the like heavily armoured you know, units of the Lizardmen. It's very scary because yeah, Mazdamundi will just wipe out a unit at a time. It's brutal. So very cool. This side, the Greatswords have finally faltered against all the Kroxigors, the Cold Ones, all sorts. But a lot of the Kroxigors got taken out. So those Greatswords actually did a great job pinning all that stuff in place. Here, Boris got punted down the hill, I believe, and now Feral Cold Ones are nipping at him. So, and some more. That's the beauty of Feral Cold Ones. They just go rampage and they'll just chase things around all day, and you don't really have to worry about it. Whatever they're attacking is useful, because they're very cheap. They're only, what, 450? They cost almost nothing. So you can just let them go mad and run around. It's not that big a deal. It's not like, you know, Cold One Knights or something that cost 1,500 that you really don't want to go out of control and be chasing any old nonsense. So here you can see Mazdamundi bravely just charging into these Demigryphs, but they are so damaged you may as well try and finish them off. And once again, the Silver Bullets are getting chased off by the Skink Chiefs. This is great use of the Skink Chief here. So I think there's another one over here. He was trying to get some shots at Boris, but Boris is far too surrounded to get any free shots. So you'll see the Skink Chief will come back here and start trying to chase off all of these haggard units, which is a really good use of them, honestly. They are so quick. You just dart from unit to unit. Just break one, go to the next one. And eventually all this stuff in the back will be shattered. It helps trigger army losses, and it means that, you know, the Empire player cannot sort of bring a new line. You know, he can't regroup his guys, make a new line, and, you know, counterattack. He just doesn't get the guys back, you know. Over here you can see Demigryph Knights. The Skinks are very quick as well. So having just a unit of Skinks chase off Demigryph Knights with halberds, That's amazing. I mean, they chased them a long distance before they rallied, which is great. And now they're just sort of busy. You know, the Demigryph Knights are busy fighting skinks. They're not over here fighting the big targets they want to be fighting. Ideally, he wants to get the Demigryph Knights over here, free up Boris, because all of this stuff is going to be very vulnerable to the Demigryph Knights. I mean, they're not designed for killing skinks, but the charge here will do mad damage, especially with Boris nearby backing him up. So now Ganossa, now with Apotheosis, so he's got more health again, is going to come in and try and finish off these Demigryph Knights. So absolutely fantastic. Pin them down with something cheap and then attack them with something big. That is the way to do it. So as you can see, it's just clean-up duty now. You know, there's some units knocking around, but basically these skink chiefs are going to be able to just, yeah, dart from unit to unit and make sure everything's shattered. Boris will not fight on his own. You know, once everything else is shattered, army loss will hit, and he's not going to fight any longer. But right now, he's just bogged down with nonsense. Lord Mazdamundi on Zlaaq, he's got the anti-infantry bonus, which is something that Boris cannot, you know, withstand. It's going to hurt, especially the armor piercing and everything. Against Krokgar, Boris would be laughing, you know. Well, actually, he'd still get eaten to pieces, but he'd survive a lot longer than against Zlaaq, so very scary. So, as you can see, that's kind of it, right? So, yeah, there's some great swords over there being chased by Carnosaurs. Like, this is not going to last. So, in any second now, there we go. Pyrrhic victory. And it was Pyrrhic. Definitely Pyrrhic. That's a lot of dead skinks. But, I mean, it worked really well. There were some fantastic maneuvers by the Empire here, by Yadav. Just fantastic, honestly. Really well played here. But you just cannot withstand the numbers of an army like this, you know? I mean, they weren't even, like, perfectly utilised. There was far more opportunities for surrounds and splitting up units. Obviously, it's more and more micro with an army like this to utilise it at its best. Sometimes you just want to charge in and focus on, you know, the key units, like the Carnosaur, Mazdamundi, the Skink Chiefs, you know. It can be very tough, but this is a very tough matchup for the Empire. And I'd say he did pretty well here. Hammer of the Witches did so much damage to Mazdamundi. It's pretty much the only thing that damaged him. And, you know, the Great Swords obviously just held the line fantastically against all the skinks. And, to be honest, they survived a long time against the Kroxigors. And it was great that he had 2 units of Demigryphs, just so he could, you know, screen out far more units than if you just had the one. So I really like that, having something maneuverable, just constantly, you know, you see a dinosaur break through the line, you charge at it, you pin it down, and your handgunners can get some more shots in. So I really like this build, but yeah, against Lizardman, it is so tough. It is unbelievably hard. And yeah, with the Light Wizard getting sniped out early, great move, honestly. You snipe out the Light Wizard, and yeah, the Empire don't have much they can do. They can't slow you down. So they can't make, you know, the best use out of their handgunners. So unbelievably tough fight, but really well played by both, you know, both contenders here. Really good fight, and yeah, I love the theme here with all the skinks, and I think a wide line against the Empire is pretty great, to be honest. You can just bog them down with so much stuff because they have to bring the elite units. You know, they have to bring the great swords to match up against the Saurus warriors. They have to bring, you know, handgunners to deal with the big dinosaurs. They've got to have the Demigryph Knights, so they have something with mass to pin them down and do some damage. You know, it's very tough indeed. So I'd say Yadav fought very well, but you just can't contend with, you know, this much stuff. It is very tough, and especially the Mazdamundi. You know, being able to just wipe out a unit at a time with those free spells. I mean, that's essentially 4 units that get almost completely wiped out. You know, that's 2 banishments and 2 ruination of cities. You drop them right on top of units, and those units are not going to have a good day. They're going to lose a lot of guys. And once they've lost a lot of guys, they're just not going to have as many shots being fired. They're not going to have enough, you know, sort of staying power, honestly. So it's a very tough one. But yeah, I love this battle. So, guys, obviously, if you want to send in any of your replays, feel free. I love doing these community casts, and it's great to see, you know, the sort of stuff that everyone else is bringing to the table. So, yeah, if you have anything good, there's a email address in the description. It's JanetOnOccasion@gmail.com. So you can send in your replays there, and I'll have a look at them. And yeah, if you just enjoyed this video, then of course feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.